This is our last episode, so we again. Don't read for 10 minutes, so you just face
Just read it aloud.
out there. I don't know where we are, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Maybe you like might ask me question like, okay, what are you reading about?
No. This one is
Damn.
uninterrupted. I won't ask you. So this one, right? You skip cancelled file.
Okay.
You don't need to read.
Okay. I've been suffering from some kind of sleeping disorder for many years. What kind of sleeping disorder? I am not sure to say. I've tried searching up the symptoms on the internet, and the closest I could relate to is sleep paralysis. But yet, I wasn't sure. For most of the examples I read on the internet, paralysis often end up with horrifying hallucinations or ghostly encounters. But so far, for every attacks I've experienced, I had not encountered anything that scary, and hopefully will never encounter because I am scared. The most freaky one was actually wasn't much scary, and it was the only experience that I saw something or rather someone. Before I get into that, I would like to describe what happened that made me went not another attack. My body couldn't move. Yups, the main sign of attacks. Then there's this loud noise humming in my ears. You know the sound that you make when you like scrunch up your ears when you were younger and didn't want to hear that person talking to you cause you were angry with that person? It's not really you make that sound out loud, more like it's just in your ears, like it's a low humming sound that you make to block out other sounds. Oh man, it sounded even ridiculous as I read it what I just retyped. What I just typed, but just a low humming sound. Okay, 3. My body felt like it's vibrating, and I don't know how to describe properly, but it felt like a light, like any moment I might float away. My heart beats freakishly fast, or was it just my hallucination or an impression made because of the vibrating feeling all over my body? I could see my room as it is, as though my eyes were open, which always made me think I couldn't move, but I am awake. The catch is, in most sleep paralysis stories I read online, they're often awake at the time, but I know I wasn't awake. The reason that I knew that I wasn't awake is there was once I had this attack before I know that I wasn't even awake. During the attack, my eyes were open and I tried to move, but I can't, so I screamed for help. My room was lit up as I usually sleep with the light switched on because I'm afraid of the dark. I screamed for my sister to help me to wake up from this attack. Cause usually if someone were to talk to me and hold me, I would snap up from it. But there was no response. The humming sound was getting louder and I was so frightened. Then I tried to reach for something. I don't know what, but I tried to gather myself together and force myself to wake up from this. And usually I know it succeeds when I manage to get my voice out to scream for help. Then my eyes flew open, and to my surprise, the room light was switched off. And usually, after each attack, I would cry, and my sleepy sister will try to comfort me. I asked if she switched the light off, and she told me that she had switched it off before she slept. She sleep, which is after I fell asleep. That is when I know that all this while I wasn't awake, all this while. eh? That is when I know that all this while I wasn't awake at all. It's just all in my head or something. And usually after each attack, I was too shaken up to sleep again. I felt so drained that I am really tired I could sleep again. But I knew that if I sleep, I will have another attack cause I did try to sleep after an attack and another attack happened. Moving on to the part when I had the freakiest attack that scared me the most. 1 year ago, I had this attack when I was napping at home in the afternoon. I felt the vibration and thought, not again. But this time, there was a difference. I heard a loud, clear, hello, hello, next to my ear, as though someone was trying to get my attention. And I felt as though a breeze blowing into my ear as the voice spoke. I was terrified, as I did not have any experience like that before. Then I saw a man standing above me. One of his feet was on my chest, and he was looking down at my face. His expression was confused, and the freakiest part, I recognized that face. He was one of my ex-colleagues. The time he was still my colleague, I think. I was so frightened that I started cussing in my brain and also tried to pray to whichever God to save me. I am a free thinker, but I respect every religion and believe that there are gods. When I finally woke up, I started crying and ran to my mom's room, and I was 21, going 22. The colleague I was talking about is alive, but he didn't went to work for quite some time around the period that I had the attack. And I heard from others that he was in the hospital cause he fell down and knocked his head or something and was in ICU, intensive care unit, and that made me totally freaked out. But thankfully he recovered, but I didn't see him since. He was a part-timer and his working attitude wasn't great. So yeah, that was the first and hopefully the last time I experienced an attack with hallucination. Back to the question again, is this sleep paralysis or was it an attempt on astral projecting? I have read up on something about astral projection and I heard that they get the vibrating feeling before leaving the body or something. Not sure, but I think I might had astral project before when I was much younger, maybe around 6 years old. Cause I remember feeling giddy when I slept and it's like the world is spinning and when I open my eyes, I am facing the ceiling and that shocked me and the next thing I know is that I'm laying on my bed, I cried I cried and woke up my poor sleeping grandma. Oh, whatever this weird experience is, but what I know that is really draining my energy, and now I have to rely on muscle relaxant or Panadol or anything to make me sleepy before I fall asleep. Because I am too scared to sleep, and every night when I am on the verge to sleep, I will force myself to open my eyes, fearing that I am going to have an attack soon. The most recent attack was on the 1st of October, and I couldn't get back to sleep again because I was scared. Any suggestions to what this is? And what should I do to stop this or anything? P.S. I know there is a website for OBE and stuff, but I don't know which category this falls in. My bedroom in England and Singapore. This will be a compilation of all ghost encounters that I can remember. When I was in England, I lived in this two-story brick house in Chandler's Ford. It was a spacious, cozy house with my bedroom door directly in front of the staircase to the first floor. The walls were painted blue with a textured ceiling with paint that was shaped like many overlapping white rainbows. The cupboard was doorless and wallless, so I could take my clothes without any opening of doors. When I was sleeping, I suddenly had this feeling like someone was watching me. I looked over at the cupboard and saw it rocking violently side by side. Somehow I did not feel scared. I just slept with my blanket over my head for the rest of my night. I did not tell my parents about it, as they would think that I was imagining. Approximately 2 years later, we moved to Singapore. We moved into a condominium that was 30 years old. We lived on the highest floor. It was a penthouse, so it occupied floors 22 and 23. The first night I slept there, I was sleeping on the upper deck of my bunk bed, staring at the curtain at the window. All of a sudden, it began flapping like there was a very strong wind. However, the aircon was pointing down and the fan was off. I became terrified and slept with the blanket over my head, this time with sweat all over my forehead. Another time, I was sleeping with my face towards the new cupboard with walls and a door that was slightly ajar. On the top deck, there was a faint orange glow emanating from the crack between the door and the wall. There was only a toy plushie lying inside, but the eyes would not glow in the dark. I kept on experiencing these weird things like the cupboard door opening when I slept, the fan turning itself off. I saw the blades slow to a halt until recently, on 22nd of August 2015, I was falling asleep after a day of running errands for my mum. When I heard mum call my loud when I heard mum called my name loud and clear, it was her unmistakable voice coming from her bedroom opposite mine. At the same time, I felt like someone was watching me. It was intensely strong. Then my younger brother, who was tossing and turning in his bed, became dead silent. I summoned all my guts and dashed out of my room while the feeling of being watched became unbearably strong, like it was going to approach me from behind. Mom was in the bedroom and I asked her if she had called me. She said, "No, you must be daydreaming." You must be dreaming. I know I was calling you for all the errands today, but I didn't call you just now. I then explained to her that I had heard a voice calling me and the strange feeling. Then only did my mum believe me. We turned on the lights and did a Our Father prayer together in my room. The feeling of other presence was gone. To this day, I have no explanation for what had happened. I swear to Jesus Christ that this is all true.